an absolutely wild day in the world of Magic the Gathering. Wizards of the Coast once again has been caught false advertising Magic products. On top of that, there's been some crazy changes to Magic's overall set design. And don't worry, I actually have some good news for you today as well.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The Magic Historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for a juicy installment of Mega Magic News. Wizards of the Coast has been up to a lot. The false advertising stuff is infuriating. We're actually going to leave that to the end. I want to start out by focusing on the positive thing that's going on with Magic the Gathering right now, specifically in regards to physical Magic and the standard format, because this is actually excellent. If you're newer to Magic, you could be forgiven for not understanding how important standard has been for the game. If you're new, you might just be like, standard, is that some kind of subset of Commander? What is that? I mean, if you've been on Arena, you know what standard is, but for physical Magic, Wizards basically drove it into the ground by removing all of the support for it. So lo and behold, I was genuinely surprised yesterday when I was going through Magic Arena announcements, and in the middle of the announcements was actually Wizards saying, hey, you should go out to the Store Championship for Markov Manor. Wizards of the Coast has brought back the Store Championships, but not just the Store Championships. They have the overall structure being roughly put back into place. Now, you may recall, I talked about the promo packs and how Wizards wasn't using promo packs for the Standard Showdown, and they had only handed off a couple of basic lands as promos, aside from, like, if you come in first place, then yeah, there's a special prize for you. But ultimately, Standard Showdown had been diminished. But this specific Store Championship is the opposite. Wizards has returned to form with this. So how it works is you go down to the game store, you play, they have special promos that they hand out, and you've got the participation one, which is a Mortify. I absolutely love the artwork on this. It is fantastic. It's actually my favorite of the three promos for this event. There's just something about that innocent there on their knees, looking up with this expression on their face like they can't believe what's happening to them, and their hands are going full on ghostly. I'm not sure what this was originally meant for. I kind of think this artwork might have originally been in Ikoria because of that little gemstone in the middle of the chest piece there. But overall, I find it to be very evocative artwork. You also have the Angel of Despair. Now, that's not a participation promo. That's for everybody who comes in the top 8. And it looks pretty impressive. That's a solid card. And first place is a textless Dothy Voidwalker. And man, does this look intimidating. And on top of that, if you're going to a WPN premium location, you actually get 2 copies of each of the promos, and they'll have the store name printed at the top, which I think is really fun. So this is a big signal that Wizards of the Coast is prioritizing paper Magic again, and we have the sequence that we're supposed to have that was working in the past, where you go set release into pre-release into regular release, and then you have open house events. You can have your Commander Day events as well, but you lead it into Standard Showdown. Standard Showdown goes on for 6 to 8 weeks, and then that leads into the Store Championship, because Standard needs support in the physical realm or nobody's going to play it, right? It's literally called Standard because for the longest time, it was the de facto standard in Magic, and deep in my heart, I secretly hope that one day Wizards is going to return to making Standard the prominent format and pushing cards specifically for Standard instead of going, they have to hit every format, because that is one of the biggest problems with Standard now. Wizards of the Coast is finally giving attention to the physical Magic again. They're starting to do like Pro Tour broadcasted events. all of it. So I expect that over time, if they continue this, that Standard is actually going to get better. And if they turn it back into the doorway for Magic, let's say things really tank into the ground and they turn around and make Standard the doorway again, I think that could return us to a level of old school Magic in terms of the game actually being more reliable with far less bannings, a more stable secondary market, and overall people just being happier because it worked for a very, very long time. So as far as I'm concerned, the store championships are an excellent addition, and I guess I should throw this in as an added note. If you're in North America like me, daylight savings time might mess you up because the store championships can be run up until March 10th. March 10th is daylight saving time. So just bear in mind that if it's actually happening on that day and you don't get the time right, you might miss out on the event, right? You might just show up and be like, oh no, it started an hour ago. So public warning for that. Now, again, that is excellent news. I have some other things that I want to discuss, little drib drabs as well. So I was sent information saying that the Karlov Manor cards might actually have the UV reactive material spread across commons and uncommons. It's not 100% sure if this is a widespread phenomenon or it's just a trick of the light when these things are being photographed or recorded, but it looks like if you go through your commons and uncommons, you might have some of that invisible ink treatment kind of spread across the cards. But that's something that I'm still looking into, not 100% about, but if you've already got the cards and you happen to have a UV light, it's something you can test out for yourself. Might be a little bit of fun. Speaking of a little bit of fun, the rad counters from Fallout. I noticed in passing that with Two-Headed Giant, they work in a very interesting way. So normally rad counters are, you've got radiation, right? However many you have, that's how many cards you got to basically mill off your deck. And then if it does damage, all this kind of thing, right? So you have the setup with the Two-Headed Giant where each person has to resolve the radiation one after another. So they both get hit by it. And that is pretty interesting to me. A little side note that I thought was worth tossing in here. Now, another side note, this is specifically in regards to the game stores, is the WPN is finally returning to live metrics. No more snapshots from Theros Beyond Death. So if you don't know what I mean by that, when the world went crazy and people couldn't really go out to the game stores because they weren't allowed to, basically Wizards went, hey, so before we would use your actual live stats based on X number of events to determine your allocations for things, specifically in regards to the pre-release. So they'd go, all right, you had this many people come out to this pre-release, this pre-release, this pre-release. So you get allocated this many pre-release kits. As a store, you can't just order infinite pre-release kits. Wizards actually sends additional prize support with pre-release kits. So for every pre-release kit you buy, Wizards actually gives you 2 free booster packs to use as prize support, which is pretty solid overall. So they limit how much you can get of that kind of stuff. And they used to go, well, depending on your performance, we'll just kind of match it. But then when everybody couldn't come out, they went, okay, well, we don't want to hose you and leave you like in the lurch. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of freeze frame the Theros Beyond Death information we have for you, and then we'll go from there. And now they're finally saying, starting in March, we're returning to live metrics. So what they'll do going forwards is they'll basically look at the last X number of pre-releases you've run as a store, 2, 3, 4 pre-releases, and whichever one had the highest attendance, that's what they'll determine all of your allocations on. So that's really just Magic returning to normal, and I thought that was interesting to discuss as well. Now, when it comes to other things that I want to talk about, we interrupt this epic Mega Magic news to bring you an awesome sponsorship. You're going to get a good laugh from the end of it. Say goodbye to disgusting wallets made out of gross cow flesh and say hello to the sleek, beautiful metal Ridge wallet. These gorgeous creatures come in over 30 different color variations. They hold up to a dozen different cards, have room for cash, and offer RFID protection on top of that. Ridge also makes these amazing key cases that solve a number of problems when it comes to keys. Are you tired of your keys scratching up the cover of your phone? Are you tired of gunk getting stuck in the grooves of your keys or them jingling? Key case takes care of all of that. Head on over to Ridge's website using my link and you can get up to 30% off right now because they're having their 11th anniversary sale. I love Ridge Wallet so much that I now have 2 Ridge wallets. What can you do with 2 Ridge wallets? Well, you can give one to your lovely wife.
Nice.
You can also give it to your secret wife.
Hey.
For me? Oh, you wonderful, handsome scoundrel. I love it. Hey, wait a minute. Where's the key case?
Still got the sweet key case.
Doink.
Hey.
Yeah, much better. I'm happy now. My thanks to Ridge Wallet for sponsoring this video. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is the brand new design skeleton that Magic the Gathering is using when it comes to putting together play sets. If you don't know what a design skeleton is, Mark Rosewater has put out a very interesting article that details the breakdown of everything when it comes to putting a set together. What they do with every different color for the different commons and uncommons, all the different slots based on creatures' casting costs, power and toughness. It's actually a really interesting deep dive into what's going on with Magic the Gathering. And you can see that it's causing a number of shifts. One is that White's power level is being pushed upwards. So White is getting more powerful creatures. Another one actually just specifically revolves around creatures in that we're going to be seeing more creatures going forwards as opposed to more sorceries and things like that, because it's easier to make creatures into multi-use items. So an example that was given in this article talking about cards they won't be making anymore, cards like Naturalize, 1 green 1, and you destroy target artifact or enchantment. The days of those cards being made are over because they're not good enough on their own in limited formats and they can't always be used. And now that the commons have been reduced from 100 to 80, losing 20% of the commons in the set, every single common has to serve the limited format now. They're not willing to have anything that is extraneous to it. So that leads to more creatures with more abilities slapped onto it and far more modular cards. You might have noticed that they keep making these toolbox cards where you get more and more options on it. You get to choose like 4 different things. So you've got your destroy an artifact or enchantment card. Well, now they'll slap on that it kills a flying creature, or they'll go it removes stuff from the graveyard, or both, or gives you life. Like, it's just going to be more and more stuff stapled on. Now, ultimately, a lot of the commons that they're not really going to be making anymore are weak level commons that wouldn't shine in the current environment. And when I went to the Karlov Manor pre-release, I did notice that when I slapped my deck together, there weren't cards that screamed to me, this isn't gonna fit. So in terms of making it easier for you when you go to a limited event to just slap all the cards of your color in your deck, that is totally doable now. So I guess in one way that is a nice improvement. So it makes it a little simpler. I've told, well, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times when I play in limited events, I don't sit there and go, I'm going to optimize 100%. I just want to have fun. So I slap it all into a pile. And if in the first match I'm playing, a card shows up and it's completely dead weight because it's really parasitic and I don't have what it needs, or it's just some weird corner case card, then I'll just take it out after the first match. And there would always be like 1 or 2 cards like that kind of tucked in here or there. So for me, I don't find it a negative to be getting rid of that. Overall, it is interesting to see that they're shifting from 80 uncommons to 100 uncommons, and 80 commons is the new commons instead of 100 commons. So it's basically reversing the two. So uncommons have different things to do as well in terms of now, instead of just creating 1 set of signpost cards for like multicolor combinations and stuff like that, they're creating 2. There's all kinds of insane information in this. Honestly, I wasn't able to absorb it all. I want to sit down and go through it in detail, but I thought that I would let you guys know it exists and talk about some of the more interesting changes that are going on, because it is kind of crazy to think that going forwards, it's like we're going to get more creatures, more abilities slapped on, and the power level is just going to keep cranking. And I mean, even just seeing the different slots, they will show you all the different slots in a set for like, here are the 20 red cards. Here's what they would be. A creature of this casting cost, a creature with this ability, all these different things. It really is a fascinating look under the hood of Magic set design. So I recommend that you check it out, or at the very least, I'll try and get some more information for you guys. Now, let's talk about the ridiculous situation surrounding Wizards of the Coast false advertising nonsense that involves multiple secret layers. And actually, I have to issue a correction as well, because I was wrong in my last video when I talked about the Sheldon secret layers, specifically in regards to rainbow foils. So, sorry my friends, but considering the insane deluge of information and the billion types of foils that Wizards makes, it's easy to get tripped up even when you spend all your time looking at this stuff. So, rainbow foils, I said in the last video, are identical to traditional foils, but they are not. That is not the case. Rainbow foils are enhanced traditional foils. So it goes like this: traditional foil, rainbow foil, double rainbow foil. I thought it was just traditional, and then double rainbow was essentially the doubling of the traditional. So that means that the people who were talking about Sheldon's secret lair being advertised as being a rainbow foil secret lair and then just changing it abruptly out of nowhere on the website is something to be genuinely frustrated about. It's absolutely unacceptable to post it that way in the first place. If you're a company that's going to make 9 million different types of foils, it is incumbent upon you to make sure that when you advertise the products, you give us accurate information. I find this to be completely maddening. We're living in a realm where they expect us to pay absurd prices for secret lairs, right? And then they go, here's a circular logic. It's a counterspell that's supposed to be an instant. Oops, we printed it as a sorcery. They give you a $5 discount for that and go, well, we're making it cheaper because we messed up the card. But when it comes to this stuff, where it's like, oh, did you order this secret lair under these conditions thinking this is what you're getting? There is no discount. Now, it's one thing when you're dealing with the Sheldon secret lair, which hasn't been released yet, and they changed it before the actual whole window finishes, right? It's still going on for a few more weeks. It's another thing entirely. Let me just pick a random example. What if Just Add Milk was advertised as a rainbow foil secret lair, and then when you got it, you found out that it wasn't. Right there on the packaging, it says that it wasn't. You open it up, it's not rainbow foils. They've literally advertised rainbow foils as these enhanced versions where the colors pop out more. You buy it specifically because of the rainbow foils, and they're not rainbow foils, because that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. It was marketed as a rainbow foil secret lair. Wizards of the Coast did not deliver a rainbow foil secret lair. And then afterwards, all they said was, oh, it was a miscommunication. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. False advertising is when you lie about what you're selling. And it can be intentional or it can be by mistake. That's how it works in Canada, and I'm pretty sure that's how it works in America too. I ain't no lawyer, but as far as I understand, you're not allowed to lie about what you're selling. Wizards of the Coast ran into this before with the VIP packs when they told us that you could get 2 borderless mythics. They told us in the live stream, they told us on the box, and guess what? It was a lie. It was not actually possible. And so Wizards of the Coast had to go ahead and try and make reparations to everybody by giving them booster packs from the Double Masters original set. Here, we'll give you special boosters, okay? Please don't be mad at us that we totally lied. You can't make a billion different foils, use particular foils to hype people up, and then when they get the product, after it's been released and there's no way to get back out of it, just go, oops, it was a miscommunication. No. That's not how it works. Like, when it comes to this kind of stuff, I genuinely hope that somebody just goes, you know what, I'm going to contact whatever kind of consumer bureau, whoever it is in the government that handles stuff like this, because Wizards of the Coast only responds to financial damage. So if they can just go, oops, and keep your money and give you garbage, that's what they'll do. It's absolutely unacceptable. You go, hey, we're going to sell you cool rainbow foils, and then go, oh, you didn't get rainbow foils? Oops, guess we didn't tell the guy right. You're $1 billion company, bro. You want us to pay these insanely high prices. For real, man. So much is on the downslide. I'm glad that I saw that stuff about standard that give me a little bit of hope, but ultimately, the choices that Wizards of the Coast are making right now are insane, and they absolutely do owe something to anybody who ordered a rainbow secret lair and didn't get one, bro. For real. It's like, is anybody over there paying attention to anything anymore? I still can't get over that counterspell that's listed as a sorcery. And then they go, yo, buy these for $40. We want to sell you 4 cards for $40. We're going to print them to bent garbage quality. We're not even going to make sure they're functional cards, and we're going to lie to you about the foiling type, because who cares? We got your money. Eat it. What are you going to do? Sue us? Like, it's maddening how greedy and lazy Wizards of the Coast is. Anyhow, that ends the ending rant here. Thanks for coming by, my friends. Big shout out to Ridge for sponsoring this video, and I will see you all next time.